Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. This is Lynn Wilson at Lynn Wilson Originals here in Mills River, North Carolina. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about picking paint colors, whether this is for your furniture or for a wall in your house. There's several things to keep in mind. Gray, I'm going to specifically talk about gray because gray has become one of the most popular colors in interior design. It kind of started in 2000 and it started to replace like beige and tan. So I have a full selection of grays here. Hopefully, there we go. And you can see, while all these are called gray, they definitely vary in terms of their appearance. This piece behind me is painted in gray. This is Paint Couture's Gustav. And I did this piece and I did another piece with their paint. It was a little bench and I did that in Linnea. So this is the Linnea. Boy, this light isn't great. This is the Linnea and this is the Gustav. And you can see on this board, they're right here. The difference, while they're both grays, one definitely has a blue undertone and one has a brown undertone. So what are undertones? When you walk into a paint store and you see that wall of color and your eye picks out the red or the yellow or the blue or the gray and you're deciding on what color to paint your house, that's called the mass color. That color that your eye first picks up. But then when you go over there and you start looking at the swatches and you pull the swatches and you can see that, you know, that red swatch may tend towards more orange or it may tend more towards purple. And those are the undertones. So generally your undertones are either cool, like blue and green or purple, or warm, like red and orange and yellow. So how do you decide which one you want for your home? Well, various things come into play. Light, what window is bringing light into your home, what kind of light bulbs you use, and what other colors are surrounding. So you'll notice on here that I painted these colors on a white background. Ideally, I would paint each color separately on its own background. This is just a board that actually it's, I think, a cabinet cover that I got Habitat Restore, and I just keep repainting it over and over when I want to test colors. But white is the best color to evaluate a color tone. So if you're painting your walls, paint a board like this white and then take the color up and place it against your wall, because the surrounding colors can make a difference, and also the color underneath the paint. You know, a lot of people buy paint and, you know, try it out on a wall and they just paint over the existing wall. Your eye's not going to pick up the real color because of the surrounding color and also because you're painting over a previous color. So this white is the best way to evaluate a color. And you can see here, these are all Dixie Belle paints that are in their gray line. This first one here is Manatee gray. So it almost has a blue undertone to it, but I would say that's probably one of the truest grays that you could use. Then we move on over here. This is Driftwood, and you can see we start to get a little bit more of a brown undertone, and I'll show you what those look like. So this is Manatee and this is Driftwood. So you can definitely tell the difference better when it's painted on a board. So the next color here is what's called a grise, which is a gray with a brown undertone. And this color is Dixie Belle's French Linen. Moving down the line here, this one almost looks purple, and it does have a very purple undertone, and it is called Mason Dixon gray. And then gray can also have a green undertone, which is shown here, and this is Dixie Belle's Dried Sage. So just wanted to show those various types of various grays with various undertones. So when you're going to go paint a piece of furniture or a wall in your house, what else comes into play? I mentioned light. Which way your room faces, the light comes in a different color. So if you have a north-facing room, you're going to be getting a very blue light. In which case, if you paint a gray with a blue undertone, like this, or particularly this one has a very blue undertone, and you have a north-facing wall, that blue light coming in is going to make your gray paint look very blue. Probably the easiest light to pick a gray for would be a south-facing room, because both warm and cool gray undertones look great in that light. Now, east and west, it's going to change throughout the day. So in the east, in the morning, you're going to have a blue light, and then as the sun rises, you're going to get more of a yellow, warm yellow light. So obviously you can't change what paint color a room is during the course of the day, but you could also look at, when are you going to be spending the most time in that room, and what other colors are in the room. So for example, my house, I have a lot of wood, a lot of older wood furniture, which I'm slowly turning into painted furniture, but I wanted to offset some of that warm undertone that I have in my room, and it looked a little dated. So one of the best ways to do that is to choose a gray with a blue undertone to offset some of the warmth in that room. Another thing that you'll want to take into consideration is what kind of light bulbs you're using. It used to be you go to the store, you buy light bulbs, and you decide, 60 watt or 120 watt. Now you go to the store, and there's such an array of light bulbs. With the LED bulbs now, you can choose what warmth of light you want. So if the lower end of the spectrum, like 2500 kelvins, that's a very warm white. And then as you get into the highest ranges, like 4500, that has more of a cool or a blue light. You probably wouldn't want to get all the way up to, it goes up to 6500, but you probably wouldn't want to go up that high because it's more like a clinical light, like you'd see in a hospital, and that color's not very flattering. It's great for workspace. I'd love to have it down here in my shop. So anyway, I'm going to just show you some of these colors so that we could paint some of the colors together now that I've given you a background. So this first color here is Linnea by Couture, and it has a very blue undertone. So that's Dixie Belle's Manatee. Continuing along that blue-purple spectrum, this is Dixon. We'll start with the lightest, which is Dixie Belle's Drop Cloth, and then move into French linen. So you can see the French linen compared to, say, the Manatee, the difference in the underlying color tone. And finally, this is dried sage. So it does still have more of a brown undertone, but it's decidedly green. And likewise, Dixie Belle's darker colors, and I'm just going to show you here, hopefully you can see, also vary in terms of the undertone. The Hurricane Gray has more of a blue undertone, like hurricane, rain, I guess. And the Gravel Road, like gravel and dirt roads, has more of a brown undertone. So either light or dark, we've got the various undertones available. So I hope that was helpful. Some things to keep in mind when you're painting either a piece of furniture or even painting in your house. When we moved into this house, I was so excited after living in so many apartments that I could paint my walls, and I really like green. And I must have tried, I'd go into the store, I'd look at the greens on the swatch, I'd bring it home, and I think that's the right green. I'd get it painted in my room, and I went from looking like I was walking into a bowl of mint chocolate chip ice cream to looking like I was walking into a Louisiana swamp. So I just couldn't get that green right. And now that I know more about underlying tones and how light affects things, I kind of wish that I had had that knowledge when I first moved in. We did end up going with a lot of gray walls after I went through my pink walls, my green walls, and my bright yellow walls that made you feel like you had just walked into, a lemonade stand. But anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments, because I'd love to help out. I've learned a lot about color since I started this, and maybe I can help you from having a mint chocolate chip ice cream room. So thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.